Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to another episode of the Hawg Talk Podcast, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are presented to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I am Porter Hayes, and alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall, and we are on to the off season, on to talking season. We'll talk a little bit about the national champion track team winning their first outdoor title in 23 years. And then in segment 2, we're going to break down our top 5 football jerseys of all time, give us our picks. So while we're in the second segment or during this first segment, drop in the comments which ones you like the best. But Adam, hope everything's going in okay on your end. It's starting to feel really truly like summer now out there, and I know you feel it indoors and outdoors. So how's everything going with that?
Going to work and the AC being out half the time, and it's getting up to like 75, 80 degrees every single day, and it's a state-owned building, so we have to like sit there and wait for them to have their people come through and whatnot. So it's been several t-shirt changes and running like 4 or 5 fans around my desk just to like stay cool. But this is the time of year that we just kind of like find random stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Which I know World Cup's going on. Team USA, I think, plays Friday, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, just not directly Arkansas related.
Yes, and of course, how many people is actually watching the College World Series now that Arkansas is not into it? I mean, I'll catch a little glimpses here and there, but I don't pay much attention to that at all. But no, we talking about off season, we really had a chance to go down to Hot Springs. I was really hoping that the Diamonds were in town. I was wanting to go watch the Arkansas Diamonds in town, but they were away. They're home this weekend, so if you have a chance to go to Hot Springs, definitely check them out. But we were able to stay at Echo Canyon at the marina there. They have cabins and pontoons. And I'll tell you what, what's that?
I said, how was that? I've heard of it, but not,
Now, it's one of the things, we're usually beach people, but man, you go on Lake Ouachita and there's no houses. You're out in the middle of nowhere. Like it's 20 minutes from Hot Springs. Like you go out west toward Mount Ida and all that. But Echo Canyon, they have and here, I'll share the screen right quick. Share screen, Facebook. Here we go. This is Echo Canyon. Yeah, this is Echo Canyon Resort and Marina. This is their Facebook page. So definitely, if I can share, add it.
Before presenting.
I got to remove something else. Hold on.
We got something else going on there.
Well, I guess
I see what it is. We're good. Go for it.
Okay. There we go. Technical difficulties. But Echo Canyon Resort and Marina, they have cabins there, but they also rent pontoon boats. And again, like I was saying, I love the beach, but dude, there's nothing like going out on the lake, and especially Lake Ouachita, one of the most beautiful places in the state of Arkansas. Isolated, there's no houses. And we rented a pontoon boat. I think it cost us $300 for 4.5 hours, 5 hours to rent. But you can go dock on the little islands there, and you can go in the middle. I mean, again, I guarantee you, we probably only seen 10 boats on the whole lake, and we went all over the place. So if you're in Hot Springs, definitely one of those hidden treasures. I know a lot of people in Central Arkansas in our listening area on Buzz 2 love to go down there. And I tell you what, we go down through Little Rock. We used to take the terrible Highway 7 through Russellville. And ever since we started taking 430 to 30, it takes us 2 hours to get down there from my house in Mulberry. So definitely go down there and give them a shout out. Tell them we sent you. The cabins were amazing. The pontoon boats, and they even have the rafts where you can rent the rafts and go tubing and stuff. So huge lake, nice and cool lake. But it was just really cool experience because we went down on a Thursday and they shut a block down and had free music going on. My brother-in-law's band, the Bluffett Band, was playing. So we went down there for that. So it was just a really, really cool experience. So again, if you're in the Hot Springs area, give them a shout out, let them know we sent you, and they'll definitely hook you up. But, on to, main topics and stuff, track team. I mean, I couldn't believe, I really thought it was a typo. And this is just how dominant the track team is. I didn't realize it'd been 23 years since they won an outdoor title.
Not at all. I heard that this morning and I was like, what? Like, I was shocked.
And again, you put all their national championships together and they're like, holy crap. So I was looking, they've just won their 53rd national championship total. How many SEC champion, or I won't say SEC because they're in the Southwest Conference. How many conference championships do you think between men's and women's track program, this is including cross country, how many conference championships do you think Arkansas has in track? Mind you, they have 53 national championships, and they won 2 this year. They swept both the indoor and outdoor this year, and men's alone.
I honestly want to go with like somewhere in the 40s, just to be like lower, because not winning a national or a conference title, but winning a national title. For some reason, I just feel like that there's less conference titles.
You could almost, I wouldn't say triple it. They have 126 total conference championships between the men's and women's. And if you include, because you have indoor, outdoor, and cross country. So if you go back to the Southwest Conference days and you include both men's, women's, indoor, outdoor, and cross country, they have 126 total conference championships and 53 national championships.
Jesus.
The women's alone won 11 straight conference championships, and that was this year. I think that Florida. I want to look and I'll have to look at what I had up. The women had 11 straight, and then Florida won and took it away from them. Yeah, they had 11 consecutive indoor titles before Florida ended that streak at the 2026 indoor championships. And they have 10 SEC outdoor titles, and this is women's.
Yeah.
That's second behind LSU with 14. So another dominant performance. And talk about the sweep. Arkansas won the indoor SEC championship, outdoor SEC championship, indoor national championship, and outdoor national championship. It was done last year by USC, but there's only been one other time it's been done other than that in history, that you've won all 4 in a row. So remarkable. And this is going through coaching changes. Yeah. You know, Harder's no longer a part of the program anymore. You know, you go through the championships and you just see Arkansas is the track school. And I mean, that's where, and I know because it's not the big 3, it kind of gets talked about a little less, but yeah, you cannot help but look at this dominance and like insane.
And who hangs their hat on that the most? Me being petty right now.
Yeah.
We already know Under Your Check hangs his hat on that more than the head coaches who have been there. But no, props to the head coach, because I mean, being an assistant for so long, it's one of the, okay, so Fayetteville's the track capital of the world. We know that. But at the same time, in this world of transfer portal and NIL and whatnot, whatever NIL he's getting, he's working to his advantage to get or to keep talent coming in, just because money is so, spread out everywhere at this point in time. But I think it's amazing for him just to be, this newly crowned head coach. And here you are already putting together a juggernaut.
Well, yeah. And, the women, they finished third. That's the thing. It's like it ain't like they went and, was a slouch. The women won third in nationals. So, that is one of those things where, and Sonu Jallow Lockhart set a NCAA record for the 800 meters at the event. So Chris Johnson, again, another one that is over the women's program. I mean, it's just incredible plug and play. Yeah. Arkansas is the track capital of the world. That is the premier program in Arkansas. And I don't know why people have such a problem with that. And I don't understand why. I mean, even Arkansas fans, well, it's not football, basketball, or baseball. Well, look at what your track program's doing. And, it's one of those that they need more consistent coverage. They need more, everybody talks about them in passing, like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. But we've had Coach Johnson on before and Coach Harder on before. And it's one of those things that when you think of Arkansas, yes, you want to think about football and all that, but man, you got to start putting more consistent track and field respect on Arkansas's name. That's just plain and simple.
And we've had the discussion on Hog Talk, on Hog HQ, on basically everywhere else. What are we? Are we track? Are we basketball? Are we this? Are we that? And I get the thought of you want to be one of those top 3 sports.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be known for. But at the same time, you can't turn a blind eye to what has happened in track. I mean, we did a whole segment, what was it, a year or 2 ago when they put up the 50 burger flag. Yeah. So, it's one of those, you cannot turn a blind eye to that.
Yeah. And there is different there. And this is something we can talk about on another episode. We can talk about what are we, but I think there's a difference. I think there's a fan's perspective of what Arkansas is, but then you've got to look at a program and what you're good at. You're a track and field program. Sorry, that's all there is to it. And you can go by importance. And then there was people even talking about, especially in the SEC, there's people that would trade national championships from another sport for a football national championship or basketball. And yeah, absolutely. I know there would be a lot of people who would. So, but the thing is, it's like in Arkansas's case, it's not fair because you could honestly, you could trade 20 national championships for one football championship and still have 33 national championships. So again, it's like, it's not fair to say that to Arkansas because it's like, well, what would you do? Just give them 30 of our track. We're good. We got 20 more to give, we got change in our pocket. So, but that should be a message. If you don't want it to be a track and field program, you're in denial. That's fine. You want your sport to be good, but then that is up to the leadership. That is to the coaches. That is to the program to change that. We had a chance. Now we have a chance to now, if you want to go by importance, if Cal wins a national championship in basketball and continues to get the recruits he's doing, and if he does what Nolan did, then you can start changing the needle. You can start moving the needle to, okay, are we a basketball school now? But until you win a national championship in the other big 3, you cannot even sit there and hold a candle to what it is when it comes to the track.
Well, that was my argument towards Arkansas not being a baseball school, because we haven't won the national title. And that's no knock to Norm DeBride, Dave Van Horn, all these teams that Arkansas has had and sent to Omaha. But the fact is we had not won a national title. So that's why I could not hang my hat and say we're a baseball school.
Well, I said, let's do it another episode. Let's do it. I mean, we're down the rabbit hole, and this is something for you to think about and for the fans. Football won a national championship in 64, and there's people that there's controversy around it. There's some people that say that Arkansas shouldn't claim it. So where do you put the baseball program in their consistent dominance or their consistent trips to Omaha? Yes, Arkansas football has a national championship, but it was in 64. So where do you level it out? Basketball has I would say, if you want to go on that, if I want to go, you take the 64 national championship out of it.
Okay.
I'd go basketball, baseball, football.
I don't disagree.
Because of the
consistency. And if you go off of, like I said, let's just say Arkansas football since they joined the SEC and how atrocious it's been at times. It would be third out of the big 3, no matter what. Even if you want to include that national championship, I still think it's third out of those 2 sports, just because of the consistency of baseball and then basketball having a more recent national title plus multiple Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, and whatnot since.
Yeah. And you go up until, and this is why I put them third, because you're stacking them up against other programs that's been good since the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2010s. You've had spurts here and there. But you have to talk about this drought we've been on since Bobby Petrino left and just how horrible they've been. But you also have to throw in when they first come in the SEC until Houston Nutt got there.
Yeah.
I mean, you had there was a learning curve coming in the SEC.
Definitely.
But that's where you got to separate it from. You look at baseball, the 70s and 80s were really good. There was a little fallout till Dave Van Horn got there. So that's why I put them, right there at second. But I have to put basketball above that because the recency yes, it was 94, but they have a national championship and they were good in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even in the Stan Heath days and, Mike Anderson's, they were still making the NCAA tournament.
40 minutes of Pell.
Surge with Eric Musselman and Cal, you have to start putting them up there.
I've considered Arkansas, if we were just going off the top, the big three, I've considered Arkansas a basketball school a heck of a lot longer than any of the other sports just because of winning the national title, but then also some of we had down years, Stan Heath, 40 minutes of Pell with John Pelfrey and things like that. But winning the national title and then still being relevant and then bringing in Eric Musselman and John Calipari, I've put basketball as being the number one sport instead of Arkansas.
This is another thought because I was going to players when you associate with these programs.
Mm-hmm.
Outside the rabid basketball fans, I'm going on, and I'm going to say casuals, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying your everyday fan.
Yeah.
Arkansas has produced so much talent that now, if you're lost in the Anthony Black days, Nick Smith Jr. days, now what we're having, Bobby Portis, Daniel Gafford, some of those they remember, but they don't remember them as being that dominant and that good. And then you go to triplets. Then you have Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, that crew. Then you want to go to 94. You had Dwight Stewart, Scotty Thurman, Al Dillon. There are so many stars when it comes to basketball.
Mm-hmm. And then people don't want to talk about because they may not like his antics and whatnot, but your Patrick Beverleys.
Yeah.
You brought in Ronnie Brewer, Joe Johnson, ISO Joe. Yes. Out of everybody, ISO Joe. If you want to talk about putting the state of Arkansas, University of Arkansas on a map, if people forgot about it, look at Joe Johnson and what he's done or what he did.
You want to go overall career. And forgive me and this is just, you would have to go, let's go overall career basketball.
Mm-hmm. And
you can correct me if I'm wrong. I would go, and this is college, pro, everything that they accomplished. I would go Sidney Moncrief, Alvin Robinson, and then Joe Johnson. Because you look at a lot of the people, they had very, very good. Look at Corliss Williamson, Todd Day, Lee Mayberry. They had really, really good college careers and didn't have that good of. If you want to go compare to Joe Johnson, but Alvin Robinson, freaking Sidney Moncrief were dogs, and they could score and play defense.
And I look at Joe Johnson, and I think I go to a lot of the. Obviously, overall point statistics and then clutch statistics because Joe Johnson is up there with the likes of Michael Jordan and others when it comes to game tying winning shots in the NBA history. I honestly, I'd probably put Alvin Robert. Yeah, 1, 2. I'd put Joe Johnson at 3. I would still look at him at maybe being around the 2 spot just because of the clutch gene that he has.
And then you could, if you wanted to go 4 or 5, Joe Klein's got to be in there too. But then you get into where you'd really have to, I go those top 3 because with a shadow of a doubt, I could say Sidney Moncrief, Alvin Robinson, Joe Johnson in no particular order. And there's really not an argument over that. But if you want to go Bobby Portis, okay, you can go Bobby Portis or Daniel Gafford or that, and then you can go Corliss Williams. There's things where you can start nitpicking and really have to go in there.
Definitely, because with Portis, you can. You look at he's got an NBA title, and then you start looking at X factor things. which Bobby Portis has, and he has had for a long time. But then you look at Daniel Gafford, and you're like, well, he's got these X factors too, but he's just been on crap teams or whatever, you know. So you start looking at the situations these guys. I mean, you could start making arguments, and this may be another show. Hey, we're going to do a top 10 of Arkansas players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Later during talking season, why not?
Yeah. And you go with, and this is another factor when you talk about Joe Johnson. He had a post-pro career with the big three, the TBT. Like, listen, he got ISO. There's people like when you talk about people who talk about Joe Johnson, Carmelo Anthony, you know, Kevin Garnett, all these people. When there was a clip that said who's the best ISO player ever, everybody's like, dude, Joe Johnson, ISO Joe. I mean, he's got his own name, ISO Joe. And dude was an athlete. I mean, I would you think about if Sonny Weems would have had that type of athleticism and that dominance, what he could have done in the pros. I mean, he was good.
He dunked on me once, which I'm sure transplanting Texan might bring up here in a little bit. But which even still, Sonny Weems is still like up until recent, like he's dominated the Chinese league for years. And that's the thing. Like if you can't make it in the NBA, like Sonny Weems gave you the blueprint to go somewhere else and do it.
Yeah.
But no, listen to some of the guys' stories. I mean, I think let's see, Kevin Garnett, I believe he's talked about Joe Klein and how strong he was, just throwing people to the ground. There's one story I believe was also Kevin Garnett, but he was talking about when Joe Johnson came in to do workouts, tryouts, and whatnot. He was just kind of like, who is this dude? Like, why are they talking about him? Why is this? Why is that? And then after he actually like got into the league and Kevin Garnett had played against him, Kevin Garnett realized, now I see what they saw. And now I see what they.
It's the Arkansas name. You and that's where you pivot from. You had a big gap in between the triplets, and yes, you had Joe Johnson, but I'm talking about if somebody come out of Arkansas, they knew they were good. But you had the Taudays, Lee Mayberries, and stuff like that. That Corliss's. I mean, they had good careers, but they didn't have phenomenal careers. So when you associate somebody with Arkansas, now we're starting to see the uptick. Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams, even Moses Moody, Daniel Gafford, Bobby Portis. Now you're looking at what's Darius Acuff going to do? What's going to happen with these new cats coming in? They're going to start getting a name. When they say Arkansas and Coach Cal, they're already looking at them as a threat when they come in the league because Arkansas's got that status now. And that's something we hadn't seen in a while. But it takes them guys. Yes, we'll get your foot in the door, but you got to go do something with it. And now they're starting to produce in the league, and it's starting to give Arkansas a really good name.
And if you look at Darius Acuff, which the draft I believe is a day from tomorrow or a week from tomorrow, look at what the New York Knicks just did, winning the NBA championship. Look what Jalen Brunson just did. If you want to see what Darius Acuff Jr. is going to do in the next 4 or 5 years, look at Jalen Brunson. Because close, similar size, create their own, do what they, I mean, scores, passer, this, that, and the other. Jalen Brunson has basically, which Darius Acuff did not need a blueprint, but Jalen Brunson has given him a blueprint.
Yes. There was a lot of people that they were looking at his size, and there was one lady, a big, I can't even remember who it was that was Becky Hammond, the coach, the WNBA coach, was saying, that he'll never win it. It's not the blueprint. It's per se saying it can be done.
Yeah.
And not only that, one, his mindset gives us the mindset of what we watched Darius Acuff do. Would not stop. Would not go down. You talk about I know the term dog gets thrown around, but if you want a definition of a dog, Jalen Williams is up there because he would never go away. He would take charges.
Yeah.
And you got to put Darius Acuff in there because he would just not go away. He might not win the game, but by God, he's going to give you 49 and try to give you the best he could. But also another thing, if you look back at what the Knicks did, You look at the 3 guys that was on that team and they played together at Villanova. I mean, you see that they won a championship together at Villanova, and then you put
2.
them 3 together. What's that?
They won 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 national titles, and then you put them together on the Knicks. Like,
That's
these
what it
dudes know
takes.
how to play. They know, and that kind of goes back to didn't necessarily play together, but like you go to the camaraderie that Oklahoma City had this or the season before. I feel like New York had that this season. These guys that just have fun, play together, but at the same time, and this goes back to just kind of Jalen Brunson and Darius Acuff comparisons. If you look at like post-game interviews, pre-game, whatever, Jalen Brunson is no nonsense.
Exactly.
He is very, and I feel like Darius Acuff is that like he's going to sit there and be all in for his teammates. Otherwise, it's business as usual. I'm not going to like steer off that.
Yeah.
Which is going to carry him for years to come.
Well, and that could be the difference between them getting there and winning it and not winning it.
Yeah.
I think Wemby has a lot of learning to do, but that you got to build people around him that you talk about that dog instinct. Again, let's see now. You know, we talked about this in sports. We've talked about this in college football. You have that underdog role. You haven't won it in 53 years, and you finally it's easy and it's easier. So it's easier when you have a goal, when you have a chip on your shoulder, when you're locked in. They've achieved it. They've won together in the NBA. Now let's see if they still have that mentality, because now that's where the pressure comes in. Because do you still have the same mentality getting back, or how hard is it when it compares to having the mentality of doing something that hasn't been done? And that's going to be a big difference. And I think with Brunson having that mindset, they'll have a better chance. And look what Oklahoma City did. They didn't have that dog. Where was Chet? You know, where was the other Jalen? I mean, they just didn't have that mindset. We won one for Oklahoma City. We won one. There just wasn't that fight.
Yeah.
When it came to repeating and getting back to the finals, because you see how San Antonio was, they should have won more games. But you had somebody like Jalen Brunson who hit 45 on the road in the clinching game. That says a lot. And Darius, you're talking about Darius Acuff. I mean, I see a lot of similarities now that you brought it up, and I think that's going to be huge for them.
And I think one of like just bringing up like Wemby and some of these other players, and I can still use comparison for Darius Acuff versus Wemby, completely opposite positions. Darius Acuff never points fingers.
Yeah.
And I feel like Wemby did point several fingers, and I think that was a big difference.
You got a guy that's been 7'4". What is he? 7'4", 7'5"?
He's came into the league at 7'3". Now he's listed at 7'5", but they say he might be 7'7".
So he might be 7'7", but you're looking at somebody who's probably been coddled. They've probably been, they've always been the tallest, easy, but he's never really, I don't know if he's really had to because you look at the second place finishes and all the events he's been in. I don't think he's ever had that overachieving or that optical gene yet. Now, if he gets it, watch out. But that's what he's got to develop. And I think that's the biggest part of it is that I think a lot of that's lost. They want to team up. They want to go join these teams. They want to do these things and let's go team up with 2 or 3 all-stars, but let's also be buddy. Yeah. Let's all be friends. And then you've got to try to go turn that off and compete with them or against them on a high level and a pro level. And it's hard to do.
Well, we've seen the interviews over the years, especially like after Kobe Bryant's passing, and like even with Jordan now with the whatever the documentary was, I forget what it's called. Anyway, but listening to them, like they expected the highest from their teammates. If you didn't want to do it, don't play with them. And I think that's where somebody like Wemby, like kind of like you just brought up, you need to pair 2 or 3 guys with him to be able to compete, because he does not have that X factor, if you will. He's using his side, his speed, whatever. But these guys that come in and that expect the best out of their teammates, they're the ones that are going to win multiple championships.
Oh, absolutely. But they're going to be, and you brought up Jordan there for a 2nd. You know, he was talking about what he demanded from his teammates, but it's something that he wouldn't do himself. And the one part of that Last Dance series that always got me was the fact that all these years later, when he was retelling it and talking about people, was talking about how hard he was on the people and called him an a-hole and called him all these things. It got him emotional. Like he had to take a break. And it was like, you could still see after all these years, it meant something to him. Just think what he was like on the court. If he's like this 20 years later, what is he like? What was he like in his prime? And I don't think, outside of Kobe, I don't think, and Brunson might be that new breed that proves us wrong. But that's the rarity that what he brings is you're seeing somebody 2 games in a row. They were down 15, 16 points, and he brought them back. The one game they were down 29, and he brought them back. So yeah, that's what and that's where it's going to help A-Cup. If he can get that and he can have the dominance, you imagine the Knicks draft him? I'm not saying he falls that far, but I mean, good Lord.
Whoever gets Darius A-Cup Jr. is getting more than they probably have any idea that they're going to get.
Absolutely.
Because I think that his ceiling is extraordinarily high. Yeah. And I think that he has that gene in him to make others around him better. If he's not going to go drop 45, he's going to make sure that this person and that person drop 20. I mean, it's one of those that he's going to figure out a way. And I've never seen somebody at Arkansas, and, you know, props to Coach Calipari for bringing him in, but seeing somebody that was so calm, cool, and collected as Darius A-Cup.
Yeah. But that, as we wrap this segment up, I mean, that just shows you, we went on this long tangent about basketball. We went on this long talking about the players and all the greats. That right there, can we do that in baseball? Could we have a 30, 45-minute discussion? And I'm talking about as us being podcasters, not Andrew Ellis, not Kevin Bohannon, not Phil Elson, not Bubba. I'm talking about the normal everyday podcaster, the normal everyday person. Could you go on a 30, 45-minute rant about all the greats of the baseball?
I don't think so.
And
you and I mean, we watch, and I will consider myself a casual baseball fan, not as, you know, like we talked about casual basketball fans and otherwise. But no, I could not sit here and talk for 30, 45 minutes on baseball.
But and then again, I'm talking about, okay, they went to the pros and had a great career. They're doing this. They're winning championships. I mean, how many football players can we mention that just went? Could you go on a 30, 45-minute rant about, I mean, you've got Darren McFadden, Matt Jones, I mean, that have went.
Steve Atwater.
I know that there's some that have had good careers.
I mean, you had Sean Andrews, who played for 21 years. But
could you go on a 30, 45-minute rant about all the players that were great in college that are now in the pros? And that's so.
Yeah, Joe Ferguson's brought up. I mean, even in baseball, I mean, you look at what Andrew Benintendi, Cliff Lee, like you've run short just because of how baseball is with the minors and things of that nature or whatever. But even with football, looking at it, it's like you get through a handful and you have to stop at some point. Yes, I know Frank Ragnow had a great career in Detroit. I'll even say Froholt. He's currently in the middle of a great career, I feel like. But at the same time, those things stop short at some point. Basketball, I just feel like there's so much intensity. And I think some of it too is just because we're looking at 5-on-5, these guys on the court. We see their faces. We see this. We see a lot more of them versus behind the helmet and whatnot. But no, Arkansas is a basketball state.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And right here, Jason Peters, you know, like you mentioned Sean Andrews. There's just a lot, and they're sprinkled throughout, you know. But it just shows you that football means a lot to the people in the SEC. And if you go up to let's go SEC Big 10, that means a lot. And then of course, you have your outliers with your USC, the blue blood programs. But those, I mean, football is everything.
Yeah.
But then it drops off. How many? Let's go UCLA, Duke, North Carolina, UConn, and I'm trying to that's their basketball only. Gonzaga. That they're going to be elite. They're going to be good at basketball, and they're fine with that. Kentucky, Kansas. So they're a handful of schools that, okay, we put basketball above everything. And those are the ones. And I don't know if I'm leaving out anyone that I can think offhand that are still relevant. Of course, you can go St. John's and Georgetown and Houston. They're starting to make a rise again. But I'm just talking about. And then if you go baseball, who do you put in just the baseball category? And that's where I don't have enough knowledge on it to just be like, okay, they were baseball. Vandy in the SEC.
Cal Poly.
What's that?
Cal Poly.
Yeah. Back
baseball
in the day,
is such a difficult sport.
Cal State Fullerton was good.
Yeah.
You had all those teams that were really good, but it's one of those where I think our fans want us to be football, basketball, baseball to fall in line with, because of course, I think if you could give anybody the choice, a majority would say they would take a football championship over the others.
Yeah.
But your emotions and what reality is of where you are as a program, and that's what's crazy. We talk about track and field, now it turns into this conversation about where we really are. But that's where I would rank them.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you.
But what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back from break, we'll move to football. We'll talk about football. And we'll break down our favorite Razorback football uniforms of all time. We'll have a deep discussion on, do you include the helmets? Does that make the uniform? Does it have to do with how good the team was that when you look at the Darren McFadden's and everybody who wore that jersey? We'll talk about that and all right after the break. Searching for premium grooming products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck, plus our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive. And welcome back to the Hawg Talk podcast. And we're moving on to football. Adam, you reached out to me and we're talking about topics, how, and I know this has been covered on other entities and other podcasts and stuff, but when it comes to jerseys and uniforms, we all have our favorites. We all have, of course, I would say the most probably outside of Brandon Burlesworth because of what that signifies. You'd have to go Darren McHad, number 5 Arkansas jersey. I think that would stick out more than anyone's who's ever played for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And it got me to thinking, all the great ones we've had, all the good uniforms. And so we posed the question to the fans and the ones that are joining in. What is your favorite Razorback football jersey of all time? We put out top 5s. We put out ours, and we're going to show you a couple of the ones we picked out, talk about them, and then we'll just break it down. Does it mean, does a winning football program and what they wore, does that have any kind of weight on how you rank that jersey? But Adam, if you were to pick your favorite, which one would you go? Which one would you go with?
Actually, it's one I forgot to upload them, so I'm doing it right now.
Oh, you're going ahead.
At the same time, do you want to go honorable mention while I upload this one?
So if we're going to go honorable mention, and I guess we can.
No, not that one.
Well, that's the one. I mean, that's the anthracite. That's everybody's favorite, ain't it?
And it's the Apex. Everybody loves the Apex.
Here's the deal, and this is where I know a lot of people joke about it. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite jersey, and me and Adam were talking off air, but the Dallas Cowboys back in the day had the big stars on the sides, back in the 90s. But this one right here, there's just something about it with the Hawg being on the shoulder pads, the infamous Hawg helmet. Yes, it was Apex, and there's a lot of people who call me crazy about it, but this is my favorite one. And I guess because of my age, I remember the Jefferson Pilot days. I remember waking up at Jefferson Pilot, watching Arkansas, when Arkansas first come into the SEC. But this right here, I don't know. I like the gaudiness, but I love that helmet. Yes, but there is 3 different shades of red on the Apex jersey, but we also got to remember what day and age and time we're in when this happened. But again, something about the Hawg. Adam's got it in his honorable mention. I'm moving it. That is my all-time favorite jersey. It is the Anthony Lucas with the Hawg on the shoulder pad.
First, I'll set the precursor as, and I've said this several times on shows when folks talk about like, oh, that's not Razorback red, that's not Cardinal, that's not this, that's not that. Razorback red has changed, I don't know how many times over the years. So for those to use that as an argument still, I'm uploading another one also that we talked about earlier. But for people to use that as like their dial on how good of a uniform it is or not, kind of baffles me at times. I go with my all-time best Arkansas uniform, and some may balk at this.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
To me, this one,
I got an idiot cat that was clawing at the door. So
you're good. No, I mean, the red shoulder pads, the thing that would have made this better is if when we wore the home uniforms, we made them opposite.
Yeah.
White shoulder pads, right? Going that route. But clean pants, you had Razorbacks printed down the side of it. You had the one little logo. I felt like this was a perfect, balanced uniform.
I like it, but to me, it's weird, and this is why I get picky. You throw, and if we can talk about, and I'll give it a little, we'll come back to it, but you put this Arkansas on that jersey.
I will say that the Arkansas was too small.
that would be the ultimate, because when you look at the Razorback basketball jerseys and the baseball jersey, it's the big Arkansas across the chest. But with that one right there, yeah, I agree. I love the look. But to me, the Arkansas on it is so small that I want to see. And you can even, if you went like that size, you
Well,
don't.
You're looking at it's like the chrome helmet.
Yeah,
made that beautiful. I liked the Brett Bielema era uniforms, but this one right here, I did have an issue too when Tyler Wilson was here, because I've seen more Tyler Wilson pictures of it. But when they had that Arkansas, still that same size, but it was in gray and you could barely see it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like meh. And then we went into the whole faded number era, which luckily ended and whatnot.
Yeah.
The balance of the helmet with the red shoulder pads and the white everything else, I just felt like was the best.
Well, in this comment right here, that's by far the best in this team. This team won 10 games. It's like you associate a uniform with winning, and it's crazy. I know a lot of people, the white helmet above me, there's a lot of people who are not a fan of it. They didn't like the white helmet with the red Hawg. Now, then you had the one that had the war memorial, the
red, white, and blue.
Yeah, the
that
red,
one
white,
was beautiful too. I mean,
they love that. It just goes to associate. I'm looking at Tyler Wilson's jersey right now. I got it hung up on the wall, and it's full red. Arkansas is small, and it's got the white right here in the armpit area.
Yeah.
Nike.
I know. Yeah.
So I got it hung up, or I'd show it. But I get what you're talking about with that era, and to me, it's just like now. And this is where I guess we can bring up the Alex Collin. I get where they're going with the Arkansas on it, but there's something about the jacket. I don't like it in the end zone. I don't like it being the font. I just
they changed that font in 2012 or whatever it was.
It was something about that. But this is another one right here. You're talking about the chrome helmet. This would be, if you would give me outside of the front-facing Hawg.
Yeah.
And now that you talk about a front-facing Hawg, that's by far the worst logo we've ever had. I can't stand it. It's just because, and I think a lot of it is it don't look good on clothing. It don't look good on stuff that you wear. Like if you was to put it on a hat, it just doesn't pop like the side. And I think a lot of it was because of the Razorback that we're used to. It wasn't an alteration, or you look at the history of the logos and everything was always sideways. And then you put the front facing Hawg and it's like, whoa, that's way different. I can understand if you wanted to do it for a season, but for you to make that the
secondary,
it's, to me, I didn't like it, and it's still there. I think they made the quick change with the sodas. Now let's get out of the front facing Hawg. I think it's just, yes, right there.
So, and this one too, like I know we've come back to this at this day and age, and I don't know if it's because of the nostalgia factor, trying to get back to something. My issue with this, and I think it might be better if you took off the red stripes on the pants, but we look so similar to Oklahoma that there's some games you're just kind of like, who am I watching right now?
Yeah.
So I think if you took away the two stripes on the pants, you'd be good. It honestly annoys me when we do go red on red here recently, and we do the red pants with the two white stripes. Like we're just stop it. If you're gonna do this, change up the pants. I would honestly be fine with going with this jersey, this helmet, but the Niall Davis pants that were just white and said Razorbacks down the side of it.
Yeah.
And
a lot of it is too, they try to modernize it. They try to take that and modernize it. And that's another thing. You're messing it up. You're trying to, you got to remember back in the Jefferson Pilot days and pre-4K days. So you're trying to church up what was perfect. And again, I've seen other uniforms. I've seen them try to do renditions of it. The font looks different. It doesn't look the same. And because I'll tell you what, one of my favorite ones is, the Jordan rookie jersey that had the Chicago slanted down You know,
with
before
the
they did the Bulls, it
sigma.
was the
Yeah.
Chicago that was slanted and had that font.
Yeah.
Something about that I love. But yeah,
And
I mean,
then one of your favorites, which we talked about earlier, was just the
yes,
classic.
simple. It's simple with the Reebok. I think it's a lot of it is just you got that hog on the side, you got the hog on the shoulder pads. So no matter what rendition you're doing, you see that Razorback somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and I understand. I'm not the guy telling you get off the lawn. And if you want to do things here and there, I'm cool with all that. But when you have that hog, right, it's just the Reebok, and again, Reebok now compared to back then. I mean, you have AI in the shoes and Reebok. It was a big deal. I mean, but look what starter was back in the day too. I've always wanted a starter jersey, but that since faded, and they try to bring it back in that UFL or that other league, but when it collapsed, so did starter. But ugh,
Had to.
you want to talk about small, like that just ugh, goodness gracious. That's like
I get why they did it because they were playing Texas A&M at Jerry World, but at the same time, this was atrocious, in my opinion. You're trying to look like the Dallas Cowboys. You look more like Ohio State, but this
look
was
like
just,
Ohio State
this was
in the
not
helmet
it.
and the pants, and you look like OU. And it's like it's almost like what he was talking about with the three different fonts or
Yeah.
the three different colors on the apex. Like the helmet, it's like if you did that in chrome, maybe, but that just looks. It looks like one of them little kid outfits you used. I don't know if they still even make these. I don't even know if you remember them, but back in the day, you could get a helmet, shoulder pads, jersey, and pants, and they were NFL jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for kids. A plastic helmet and these little thin shoulder pads. That's what that looks like to me because the Razorback font is so small. How can you have the SEC logo so big in your font so small? But the helmet is, ugh.
I mean, it's. I don't. I mean, like I said, I get why they did it, but at the same time, I think this is my least favorite. I will say, which I didn't upload this. I do not like in 2014, I think it was, when Arkansas wore 1964 throwbacks against Alabama in the rain, just because of how dark the uniforms were.
Mhm.
But we do have another one. This is everybody's favorite. I know this is everybody's favorite.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
Yep.
They don't make them anymore because they're sold out. I mean, that's just. But you look at the helmet; it looks like the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the Cardinals, and it's just. But if Arkansas would have won in those jerseys,
Mhm.
how many people would love those jerseys?
You go back to basketball; it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The times that the basketball team has won or worn those and lost, more often than not, everybody can't stand when we wear them. But I just think that this was a clean look. I liked the helmet better because they did it once or twice with a silver chrome hog, not a red one.
Yeah.
I think that this one looks better. I enjoyed it, and I just go back to the Arkansas versus Florida game where Dewop Mitchell laid out that Florida kick returner in these uniforms.
Yeah.
So my mind just always goes back to like that singular play.
And again, the font of Arkansas is good on it. I think that if you want to put together the worst, you put that font that you just showed on that Ohio State looking jersey on that. You put that Razorback font on the one we just pulled. But it also, you look at the pants, almost like the old 49ers.
Well, and I just noticed the Razorback logo on the side, on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that before.
That looks like the retro one you used to see on the trucker hats. Now that's legit. I'll take that. And that's another thing. I like that Razorback on the shoulder pads, almost like the basketball Razorback. It was tucked in more.
Yeah.
But it was red. This one, the one on the white, it looks more elongated. But it's almost like, to me, and again, it could be my age, just the simple Razorback, simple it's red, but there's so many teams. Again, if you played Oklahoma or Alabama, and you're looking very similar, because if anybody did it, but that right there, it's going to be hard to beat that one.
Yeah, that's your one. Here's my one. So different ends of the spectrum, but at the same time, I can appreciate both of them.
Yes,
but at the same time too, I just the people that go back and argue about Razorback red, Cardinal red, whatever, it has changed. So here's the thing, and a lot of this I think has to do with Arkansas not standing firm when it comes to licensing and things like that. You look at Alabama, you look at Oklahoma, these other schools, you can go to a Walmart and see 5 different brands, 5 different styles of shirts, but they're all the same red. You walk into a Walmart in Fort Smith and look at 5 different Arkansas t-shirts, they're all different shades of red. And I think that's the problem with the university.
That's why I'm laughing. Yeah. Because we've put out shirts and that it's got to be that that can't be that exact color of red, and I'm just like, give us a break on that.
Yeah.
It's
Walmart can't even do it for you. So
yeah, well, Walmart's not here to save your football program neither. So I'm sure they're out to not. But I mean, that just gives you an idea, guys. You look, it's summer, it's time, and when you have people doing things, we're going to just come up with some outlandish topics. We're going to go down the rabbit holes. That's what we're about, and talk about different things. But we're also going to bring up things of the past. I mean, I'm 44 years old, so there's things that I remember from my day that even when me and Adam were talking, it's like, dude, I don't remember that because I watched more basketball when I was a kid than football. It brings a lot of those things, the nostalgia out. But again, I didn't have cable television growing up. So, I mean, 40/29 and ABC, when you watch Jefferson Pilot Sports on 11 a.m. game, that's back when I loved 11 a.m. games.
Yeah.
I could watch a Razorback game and then go out and play and talk about the game, stuff like that. But we'll have more topics about this. Again, we'll do random top 5s and top 10s, but then we'll smash them up and make a little video about them. So just, again, drop them in the comments, talk about your favorite ones. But looking forward to many, many more conversations until football season gets here.
I have a whole bunch of randomness coming.
That's the way we love it. That's the way we like it to be. That's the way it should be. And again, when you talk about people having the same topics and stuff, I know it gets old. I know it gets to the point, but how many times can you do a countdown from 100 to 40 and do the same play? It's one of those things that we try to bring something different, but yet again, talk about the good old days and talk about the jerseys that we used to like.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but before we go, want to bring up 965 Spirits. There we go.
Nope.
What happened? Nope, that ain't it. What did it not let me? There we go. 965 Spirits, our newest sponsor out of Charleston. Adam, you're familiar with Franklin County where I live, and it's weird that Franklin County is a wet county, but yet Charleston for the longest time stayed dry. So 965 Spirits in Charleston was the very first liquor store there south of the river in Franklin County. You had to go to Nubbin Ridge, which was between Coxville and Boonville, little piece of Franklin County. But the first one in Charleston, they started selling at Harps. Presented over my good cold drink tonight. So if you're in the Fort Smith area, drive over to Charleston. Say hello to our good friends over at 965 Spirits. They sell liquor, alcohol, everything you can find here in downtown Charleston, Arkansas. So I want to thank them for coming aboard and being our newest sponsor of the Hawg Talk podcast. Tonight's show is presented by 965 Spirits. So right there, located on the east end of town. So stop in Highway 22, stop in and say hi and tell them we sent you.
Definitely. Go check them out.
Anything else?
No, it's Monday Night Raw time.
Oh, yeah, Monday Night Raw. Hey, look, and that's another thing. We can start getting into this greatest wrestlers of all time. I mean,
I could talk for hours on this.
You're probably going to hate me. I'm a stone cold biased on that. I don't like probably your favorite. I can't stand the Roman Reigns. I can't.
He's not my favorite.
Okay, I don't know.
No. I go back to Attitude Era.
Okay.
Stone Cold versus The Rock versus Shawn Michaels. I mean, those are, the three that I would call
the intro movies. What do they call those when they made the promo videos?
No, they were just legit, just promos.
But they had a name for them. There's a specific name of what they called that leading up to
a big match at a WrestleMania or something.
I can't remember. I seen it and it was a term. I'll text it to you later.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that they were comparing that one to one of WrestleMania. I was like, no, the freaking My Way leading up to
Limp Bizkit with my yes. No,
That
they
was
need to they have not made one like that since.
No.
And that's one of their downfalls, but it is what it is. I can get into
listen,
whole
oh my God, do wrestling. Here we go. Andrew McAdams, 87. We'll do it. Because I'll go back. I can go back all the way to Dusty Rhodes. I can go back to Andre the Giant. I can go Snuka, Jimmy Superfly. One of my favorite ones growing up before I really got into like it was Ric Flair, it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I just something about him I like. But no, we're going to get on this, a lot of craziness coming up the next few months. And then, of course, Hawg HQ Live on Sundays, 8:05. Yes. We're going to be back to you next Monday, 6:05. We'll probably, 6:05, 6:15ish. Me and Adam do a pre-show, and sometimes we just lose track of time and we start whenever.
We'll be
so
here,
it's 6:15-ish from here on out. So
we'll be there.
For Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, all of our fans, all of our listeners, and all of our sponsors. And we will catch you again on Monday.